What's up everyone, it's Chase here, and today we're going to be discussing the hardest main weapons in Splatoon 3. Or at least, what a large portion of the community thinks are the hardest weapons. You see, I already had a pretty good idea of what the hardest weapons in the game are, but just to make sure I wasn't biased, I asked the competitive community for their opinion. Most of their responses aligned with mine, but there were definitely a few that shocked me. After looking at all of the replies, I formulated a list of what I thought to be the top 5 hardest main weapons to use in the game. This list is a mixture of both my and the community's opinions, so keep that in mind when watching. Also keep in mind that this list is really formulated with high-level gameplay in mind. While some weapons might be really hard at a top level, they might be easier if you're facing less experienced players, and vice versa. We'll start at number 5 and work our way up to number 1, which is the hardest weapon of them all. Are you ready? If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Starting off at number 5, we have one of the newest weapons added to Splatoon 3, which is the recycled Brella 24. Now, I'll be honest, a big reason as to why this weapon is hard is just because of how weak it is. Its shield is more fragile than a piece of paper, requiring you to be extremely skilled to use it effectively. Its mobility isn't the greatest, and it also has a fairly narrow shot spread with a decent amount of downtime in between shots. Not to mention, both of its kits aren't exactly great. Angle Shooter and Big Bubbler is just what? And while Triple Splashdown is good on this thing, Toxic Mist isn't. Basically, you have to try extremely hard to go above and beyond just to get a mediocre game on this thing. And for the record, a lot of Brella specialists have also said that they think this is the hardest Brella to play. Next up at number 4, we have the duly squelchers. Those of you who are fans of my channel, you know how I feel about this weapon. I don't think it's very good. There's a variety of reasons for this, but the main one is that this weapon never really recovered from the harsh nerfs it received back in Splatoon 2. Back in that game, main power-up existed which made the weapon very powerful, making those nerfs justified. But in Splatoon 3, they never rebuffed the weapon to compensate. Its ink consumption is awful, its accuracy is poor, and its damage is fairly weak. To get a good game with this weapon, you have to be very skilled. This weapon has a lot of unique, advanced tech, which takes a lot of practice to really understand. And even if you've mastered all of this tech, the weapon is still mid at best. Any Squelcher Pro would tell you that. This weapon is kinda sad because the potential to be great is there, but the current tools it has just aren't enough. The people who specialize in this weapon can get decent results, but at the same time, there's just so many better options you could pick that aren't as mechanically demanding. At number 3, we have the poster weapon of Splatoon 3, which is the Tri-Stringer. It is so weird that the weapon on the literal box art of this game happens to be one of the most anti-casual weapons in the series history. Like seriously, what was the thought process here? Anyway, for anyone who's actually tried to use this weapon before, I don't really think this needs an explanation. What makes the weapon so difficult is that you need insanely precise aim to land a direct. Now sure, you need precise aim to land a direct with any one-shot weapon in Splatoon, but with the Tri-Stringer, it's extreme. No matter how skilled or experienced you are with this weapon, any pro will tell you that it is not easy to be consistent with this thing. Plus, the weapon is just really hard to work around on comps. You need to have very competent teammates who actually know how to play off of this weapon's damage, or else it's just not really getting much use. At number 2, we have a weapon that shouldn't really surprise anyone for being on this list. It's none other than the H3 Nozzle Nose. To be honest, the H3 has consistently been one of the hardest weapons to use across all 3 games. But what makes it especially hard in Splatoon 3 is just how fast-paced everything is. Unlike in Splatoon 2, there's a lot less passive playstyles. There's a lot of running forward, more aggression, no ink armor, and of course, Tacticooler speeds everything up as well. If you've used the H3 before, you know that this weapon is quite slow. It simply struggles to keep up with a lot of the weapons that are actually good in this game right now. And with everything else being so fast-paced, it makes it even harder to actually land your shots on people. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about that. You need to have laser aim to actually kill with the H3. Unlike the L3 Nozzle Nose, where you can kind of just keep spamming your shots, the H3 has a lot more downtime. This has always been a very advanced weapon, and in Splatoon 3 specifically, it's never been harder. Now, before we get to number 1, I wanted to go over a few honorable mentions, because trying to pick a concrete list of 5 of the hardest weapons in the game wasn't exactly easy. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to put on this list that I just couldn't. For example, the Squiffer. While I do think both kits are quite difficult, the Zipcaster kit specifically is a whole new level of insanity. To be able to zip off of a wall and perfectly land a direct shot while being airborne takes some immense skill. Speaking of jumping and charging shots, you know what else is a really hard weapon? The Reflux. The fact that it can charge shots mid-air now is great, and it allows the weapon to make a lot more aggressive plays than it could before. However, that doesn't mean it's any easier. If anything, it just raised the skill ceiling. It's pretty rare to see a good Reflux player, but when you face one, you can tell that they've put in countless hours to reach that level. And while we're on the topic of putting in countless hours, the final honorable mention that I'll discuss is none other than my own main weapon, the Tetradulies. This was notoriously one of the most difficult weapons in Splatoon 2, and while I do think it became slightly easier in this game, that doesn't mean anyone can play it. Besides the duly squelchers, this is definitely one of the hardest dualies to master. In fact, there's a lot of dually specialists who play nearly every other dually except for Tetras. The reason for that is Tetras require a completely different mindset with its 4 dodge rules. It's not really like any other weapon, so therefore it's hard for a lot of players to transfer their skills over to Tetras. As a result, not a lot of people play it. And let's not forget that ever since Tacticooler became meta, these things haven't been particularly great. Okay, now that the honorable mentions are out of the way, let's discuss number 1. What is the most difficult main weapon to master in Splatoon 3? Well, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise since this is a very common answer, but in my opinion, the hardest weapon in the entire game is the Splatana Stamper. Now hold on, because I know what you might be thinking right now. Chase, what? How is the Stamper the hardest weapon in the game? It has ridiculous range and damage, and it gets away with so much. While that is true, remember, this list is based on the highest level of play. In lower level lobbies, sure, Stamper probably isn't the most difficult weapon, but when you're facing opponents who know all the ins and outs of this game and have mastered every form of movement, I promise you, this weapon is not easy. There are so many things that you have to account for. There's so many different combos to learn, there's a lot of different techniques such as the dash attack, the fairly poor ink consumption, and with the vanilla kit specifically, applying burst bombs and zipcaster to your playstyle, which moves up the skill ceiling even further. The good news though, is that if you do take the time to learn this weapon, it's probably the most rewarding decision you can make in this game, because it is arguably the best main weapon in Splatoon 3. Pretty ironic that the best weapon in the game is also the hardest weapon. But when you really think about it, isn't that the best case scenario? Well, there you have it. Those are what I think to be the most difficult main weapons in Splatoon 3. As always, if you enjoyed, don't hesitate to drop a like and subscribe. And also, let me know down below what you think is the hardest weapon in this game. I'm always curious to hear people's takes on the subject. In fact, if you really want to, give me your own list of 5, and you could even leave explanations. I want to see how the Splatoon YouTube community's opinions differ from the competitive scenes. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.